Hey guys, what's up? Time for Stephen King Reread Episode 3. This time we're doing The Shining, his third published novel after Carrie and Salem's Lot. It was published in 1977. It was his first hardcover bestseller, and it's a really popular book. It still is a really popular book. It was made into a really popular movie, and it really cemented Stephen King as a preeminent horror writer. People started associating horror with Stephen King, the name Stephen King and horror, kind of like people do now, for better or worse. And very popular book. It was influenced by two major things. His visit to a place called the Stanley Hotel in 1974, it's a real hotel that exists in Colorado, and it influenced this how he went about writing about the hotel in this book, The Overlook, and he actually used it as the hotel and served as the Overlook Hotel in his Shining miniseries that he ended up doing. And his recovery from alcoholism is really apparent as an influence to this book. And we'll get more into that. He did recover from alcoholism. He did relapse back into it, which is unfortunate. But there's a lot about it in this book. Now, before I get to the plot, there's three characters you really need to know. Absolutely need to know. And in a book like this, with not as many characters, and it basically takes place in one place for most of it, it's easier to talk about the specific characters like this. A lot easier than a book like Salem's Lot with so many characters. So I thought I'd get into him. There's Jack Torrance. He's the protagonist. He's the father of Danny Torrance, the husband of Wendy Torrance. He's an alcoholic. He's a writer. We'll get to all that. And Wendy Torrance is his wife. And Danny Torrance is their son, who has the shine. He has a thing called the shine where he can see the future. It's hard to explain. He can read people's thoughts. Stuff like that. Kind of like Carrie, but with different powers. And another character that pops up is Dick Halloran. He's the cook of the Overlook Hotel. And he comes into play later on. But he's probably the next character that you should talk about. The only character you really need to know about besides Jack, Wendy, and Danny. Okay, so what this book is about is the hotel called the Overlook Hotel. Jack is an alcoholic. He's recovering alcoholic. He trying to get his life back together. There's some incidents when he was an alcoholic. He broke his son's arm by accident. He beat the hell out of a guy when he was a teacher. Beat the hell out of a student. The student was doing stuff to his car, and he lost control and beat him up. And he's trying to get his life back together. He takes a job at the Overlook Hotel, it's in Colorado, so it's closed. It's in the part of Colorado that gets a ton of snow. So over the winter months, it's closed, and they need to hire a caretaker to do stuff like prime the boiler and just do stuff around the hotel while it's closed and while the off season when there's no guests. So he takes this job. He's hoping this will save. Part of his hoping this will save everything. Save his relationship with his wife, his relationship with his son. His son loves him to death, but this stuff has happened, and he also is hoping to finish his play he's writing. So they go to this hotel. They find out that one of the previous caretakers had killed his family. It's been attributed to cabin fever, being stuck in place with people for too long. And so while at this hotel, the hotel is, they go into the history of the hotel. There's a lot of bad stuff that happened at the hotel. And it starts to affect his mind. And Danny, being the way he is, he can sense things in the hotel. He can see things in the hotel that happened a long time ago, but echoes now. And Dick Halloran, who was the cook of the hotel, had told him he also has the shining, and he told him to shine. He told him, you might see things around this hotel, but just they can't hurt you. Just close your eyes, count to 10 or whatever, and they'll be gone. So, he sees all this stuff around, and slowly Jack is starting to lose his mind a little bit. The hotel is affecting him a lot. He's obsessed with it. He's in the basement by the boiler reading about the history of the hotel. He wants to write a book about the hotel. And what's really going on is the hotel is trying to use Jack to get to Danny. The hotel wants Danny. Because of Danny's power, the hotel's filled with ghosts, basically. And they're not nice ones. And they affect everything. They slowly drive Jack insane. And Danny is worried about his father. It's really good. And it's to the point where Jack starts seeing things. He sees, he's at the bar and he sees a bartender and there's a whole party going on. And none of it's really there. It's all stuff that happened in the past at this hotel. And, he gets drunk off alcohol that isn't really there. And it's crazy. And it's really good. And what ends up happening is he goes nuts. He tries to hurt his wife. His wife knocks him out, locks him in the freezer. Well, actually, it's a pantry. The freezer would be bad. And he's let out by this ghost lets him out that he's been talking to. And, it tells him, you got to take care of that. You got to take care of Danny and Wendy, and he tries to kill him. It's basically what happens. And that's basically the plot of the book. At one point, Danny figures out what's going to happen, and Dick, the cook, who has left for the season, gone down to Florida, he told Danny before, if something bad's going down, call me with your mind, with the shine, and I'll come back. I'll try to come back and help you. And that's what he does, and Dick comes back, and it doesn't work out too good, but he stalls Jack a little bit at an important time. I don't want to give I've already given a lot away, but most people have seen the movie, so, not that the movie really follows the book, but that's basically the plot of the book. It's a really great book. Most people would put it in the top Stephen King books. I don't think I put it in my top 5, but I put it in my top 10. I don't know. I think The Shining is a great book. But I think there's better ones, that's all. And he has a lot of great books. But I'll get to the movies. Obviously, The Shining was adapted in 1980 by Stanley Kubrick. And very visual director. He has a definite style. And Jack Torrance was played by Jack Nicholson. Wendy Torrance was played by Shelley Duvall. I forgot what the kid played Danny was, but he was good too. And here's the thing. Stephen King still does not like this adaptation of his book. And when you read the book, you can really understand. The movie is a really good movie. It's a really good horror movie. But it is not a good adaptation of the book. And I'd seen the movie before I read the book when I was a kid. And I loved the movie. And I read the book. I'm like, this is nothing like... there's similar things in it, but it's not really like the book. And, the original movie's not like the book in a lot of ways. For one big thing as far as Stephen King is concerned is Jack Torrance was miscast. Jack Nicholson, not saying he wasn't great in that movie, but when you read the book, it's really just a normal guy with problems, but he's a normal guy, and he just goes insane, loses his mind. Where in The Shining, it just seems like, crazy Jack Nicholson going a little crazier. So that's one of the big things he didn't like about it. He was actually contractually obligated to not criticize Stanley Kubrick's version of it. So he couldn't criticize about it until after Stanley Kubrick died, really. But he was publicly saying he wasn't a fan of it. Shelley Duvall was kind of annoying in it. I thought the kid was good, though. I like Scatman Crothers. He played Dick Halloran. I'm a huge fan of the old Transformers series. He does the voice of Jazz and that. He did the voice of Hong Kong Phooey, the old cartoon. So he was really good in it. And like I said, it's a really great, it's a classic horror movie. Like, this is on, like, everyone's list of, like, the best horror movies of all time. And for good reason. If you hadn't read this book, you'd be like, this is just amazing. And it is a great movie. It's hard to watch it now and not think of the differences between that and the book, though. And, it's a problem. And because of this, in 1997, Stephen King decided to do a mini-series version of The Shining, his own, which he wrote the screenplay for and everything, that was closer to his novel. And closer to his novel, it definitely was. Steven Weber played Jack Torrance. He was on a show called Wings. Rebecca De Mornay, who's been in a lot of stuff, she played Wendy. And it was directed by Mick Garris, who directed a lot of Stephen King stuff. He did The Stand. I believe he did Sleepwalkers. He did some other stuff too. He directed this, and I'm not saying it's bad. There's some really good stuff about it. It's definitely a lot closer to the book than the Kubrick version of the movie. But a lot of the effects are real cheesy. The kid's pretty annoying. And, I mean, it's hard. It's hard when you cast kids. You're going to... Most of the time, you're going to be a little annoyed by the kid. Not everyone gets the luck of, like, Stranger Things. But I like it. I actually own it on DVD, and it's really hard to actually find it on DVD now. But I happen to like it. And so, I don't know, if you want to see something that's closer to the book, watch this. It's longer, definitely longer. And there's some things in it that aren't great. But, I don't know. I mean, the original movie's obviously a better one, better made, but like I said, it's not like the book. So it's really what you want to watch. And, yeah, so getting back to the book a little bit, there's this scene, I think it's 227. I know they switched the number around from the book and the movie, which is another thing. It's like, why do you got to change that around? But there's a room where this lady died in it, and Danny goes in there. He's not supposed to. He goes in there, and the lady basically is there. This dead lady, and the scene is really freaking terrifying. It's one of the scariest scenes I've ever read. And I've read it a few times now, and still when I read it, it's so damn scary. And most of the rest of the book doesn't really scare me that much, but that scares me. So, yeah, I actually think that's done really well in both adaptations of the book. It's scary in both of them, I think. All three versions, it's the book, the movie, and the miniseries. That seems scary. But, like I said, great book. This is the version I wanted to read. I have a few versions of it, but this is the one I wanted to read. It's an old paperback version I have. See, it's a little scuffed up. But this one's a little harder to find now. I kind of like it. That's the one I read. So I have a couple other copies of it, but I don't know, maybe I'll show you sometime. Sometime I'll have to do a video where I just show you all. I have so many Stephen King books, it's crazy. But yeah, so that was The Shining. Gonna take a little break from the reread. The next book in the reread will be Night Shift, the short story collection. I love Night Shift. But I'm reading Sleeping Beauties right now, the collaboration between him and his son Owen. And so I'm probably going to do a review of that soon, but that's not going to be part of the reread because obviously I've never read it before, so it's hard to reread something you've never read. So yeah, but I'll get to Night Shift right after that. So thanks for watching. Tell me what you think of The Shining. Tell me what you think of the movies, and if you think I'm full of crap saying that the original's a bad adaptation or whatever, just let me know what you think, and have a great day.